Get on camera, Uncle Mo. Ugly.
That nigga think he came direct like a bitch.
How long you been gone, Uncle Mo?
Shit, 34.
34 years?
Yeah.
Tell him you OG tell him you OG round this hoe. Fuck you talking about?
Still rocking her. I ain't running shit.
You ain't running shit?
Tell him, man. Still rolling.
Nah, for real, man. Oh, my mama, y'all hear me? APE shit, fuck you talking about?
You ready, bro?
Yeah, hey, y'all ready? I'm ready.
So prison sex is always inventive and creative.
Hey girl, so I'm gonna talk about this too. Now, in my personal experience, I have seen toys made with soap. There's a lot of different recipes. Some women decided to make them with other things. That's a story for another time. I have a full video on my YouTube channel about this. But what they would do is they would take the state issue bar of soap, most commonly in my experience, and they would shape them into the size that they wanted and the shape that they wanted and all of that. But because you can't put soap in your body like that, they would want a glove. And a lot of the women were afraid to steal from staff. Not me. That was my entire hustle. I'm not going to steal from an inmate. I'm going to steal from the staff. It's us versus them in there. You know what I mean? So I would steal the gloves from the nurse's station, and then I would sell that to the people that were trying to make those toys for their girlfriend. If you want to do that, if that's how you do your time and it's going to make your time better because we all have needs, cool. I'm going to sell you the glove that I stole. Did I ever use that? Absolutely not. I was always too nervous of infection. Also, I cared a lot about, you know, my personal privacy and space, and you don't get space in an open dorm. So I would steal things. That's a whole video for another time, but that's how they do it.
What's the state?
Where you at, huh?
I'm right here in Delano, 217, putting it down for the homies on the fucking active unit, homie. What's up? You know?
You're reception, eh?
Reception, there you go.
With a cell phone.
And with the cell phone. Sorry.
Once of a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime thing, you know, you can never catch this shit anywhere else. Live coming to you. 217. My name's Damien from the 805 area. This is my Sally right here.
Crazy
from the Clanton gang.
Double S.
Fucking, you know, I hope you liked our little detour, you know. Fucking,
The gym.
Off. Sorry. Let me take you to the gym. Right. This is called the fucking, you know. Take turns right here, you know what I'm saying? That's how we get these right here, you know.
That's
Don't
right.
come easy, shit, you know what I'm saying? It's fucking prison made right here, girl.
Very.
Yeah, you know. Alright, hope you had a good time, you know.
Now you've seen this viral video. Let me tell you the real story about Isabella Guzman. Isabella, her mom, and her stepfather lived in Colorado. Isabella began to be very rebellious. Her mom caught so many different boys climbing over their backyard fence. She confronted Isabella. Isabella became enraged. That same day, when her mom confronted her, she emailed her and told her that she would pay. The next day, Isabella's mother called Isabella's biological father to come over and have a talk with her. Since her stepfather no longer wanted to talk to her, he had become afraid of her. Isabella's father came over and had a talk with her. He told news reporters that he felt the conversation went well. He thought she might be changing for the better. However, hours later, Isabella's stepfather ran upstairs to the mother's bathroom, where Isabella quickly closed and locked the door. He saw blood coming out from underneath the door, so he called the cops. Isabella had stabbed her mother 151 times and ended
Today I'm finna show y'all how to make a prison pie.
You will need 1 soup, 1 rice, 3 fried beans, 1 bag of chips, 1 tuna, jalapeno peppers, and an empty chip bag. We're gonna have to crush the soup and the chips all the way down into crumbs.
Damn, I forgot the water, and that's the main ingredients. He said, let me show you how we make that hot water so I can get this shit started.
You put chips, soup, refried beans, and rice all in the same bag. Now we pour the hot water into the bag.
You mix it up like this until it locks up real good.
Voila, with the tuna spread and jalapenos on top.
Yeah, you're prison famous.
Prison famous. What the fuck? Oh, hell no. What the fuck?
That's the only reason people follow me is because of you.
Oh.
It's the truth.
No.
Yeah.
So when was someone gonna tell me that life in prison didn't actually mean until you die in prison? I feel bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray. Like, what?
It's not easy being the disappointment of the family, but here the fuck I am. Gang, gang, bitch.
Y'all tell me why my friend is messing with people on prison and he sent him a nude. He sent him a nude from the cell, from the bunk bed. I seen prison deal.
Two.
You go do what?
Give him a Capri Sun or two.
Put some money on his book.
Put some money on my baby daddy's book.
Your baby daddy books.
Yeah.
He gonna get your pussy pregnant.
I'm gonna try.
Straight pregnant pussy.
That's a good question. Let me explain. This is what the cell window looked like. Very small, right? Well, these windows are sandblasted in order for inmates to not be able to see outside. So I used an old con trick in order to make a small window of visibility through the window so that I could see my mom drive by and flash her high beams. And this is how I did it. With some Vaseline from Health Services, saran wrap from a sandwich, and a hard card-like surface. First, apply the Vaseline to the window. Once the Vaseline is evenly spread, apply the saran wrap. Next, you're going to want to swipe left and right with the hard card until visibility starts to become clear through the Vaseline and the glass. And last but not least, enjoy the visibility of a slight free man. It's never as clear as you want it to be, but that's how it's done. Best advice, don't go to jail, and you can look out normal windows.
How are things smuggled into a prison from the perspective of an ex-con? Let's go. Now, I've seen correctional officers on this app saying that COs would never smuggle things in. That's a lie. That's a myth. Y'all watch too much TV. COs don't do it. You guys, the #1 way that drugs or any kind of contraband, like a cell phone, gets into prison is from the correctional officers. #1, top of the list. Okay, #2, visitors. Now, this is a lot more difficult during COVID. There aren't a lot of visitors. Also, that's a risk. Obviously, correctional officers can go to jail too, but this is a risk and it does come in through the visitor floor. #3 is mail. That's even harder and rare in tiny amounts if it gets through. And I've also heard of, like in Indiana State Prison, I was just there, follow me on Instagram to see all the behind the scenes stuff, but I heard of football being packed with drugs and cell phones being thrown over that wall in Indiana State Prison. So that happens too if it's in a town and they can do it.
That's a serious one. Okay, well, first of all, when an inmate gets pregnant by a correctional officer, it's considered rape. That's why they be real serious about trying to be careful. It doesn't matter if you go down there and say it was consensual. It will be considered rape. I've seen females set officers up to try to get out of prison, to try to sue the state, because technically you are state property. So anything that happens to you under their care is their fault. They pay out a hell of a lot of money for that. So you got your girls that will go around hunting for officers so that they can do whatever they do and set them up. There was a bunch of girls in prison that were known for that, but officers already knew what time it was. They went looking for like weak officers, new officers that didn't know no better. But what happens is once they find out that an officer has slept with an inmate, the officer is walked off the compound, most of the times in cuffs, and they're basically giving to the sheriff. Like literally right outside the door, the cops are waiting for them.
Welcome back to Prison TikTok. A lot of you guys have been asking me if working in a prison is how it's portrayed in the TV shows. No. There's not a riot at the end of the day where an inmate gets a gun. And they don't hide body parts in the garden. However, what does happen at an alarming rate is staff getting fired for trafficking. I was shook when I had been there for only 2 months and there had been 4 staff walked out. I'm talking nurses, doctors, custody officers of all ranks, bringing in cell phones in the hoo-ha, trying to deal meth, coming to work on meth, passing out fentanyl, sleeping with the inmates. What is wrong with people?
All right, so the craziest thing I seen while I was in prison. Most of the crazy things that I seen while I was in prison is due to girlfriend. Y'all, they take being a lesbian in prison to a whole nother level. Half of these women probably weren't even lesbians out on the street, but that's a whole nother topic. So basically, if you decide to cut things off with your girlfriend, the compound is really small. So if that girl decides to start talking to somebody new, trust me, somebody will go and see them, and within seconds, it's all over the compound. So the craziest things I've ever seen were because of girlfriends. So basically what happened in this situation, there was a stud and a femme. The stud no longer wanted to be with the femme because the femme was crazy. The femme was also like a year away from going home. The stud decided to go talk to somebody else. Somebody went and told the femme what happened. The femme grabbed a bunch of razors, put them together, made herself a little shank or whatever. And while the stud was sitting with the new girl, the femme ran up behind her and literally cut her neck open. Yeah, it was crazy. The girl ended up getting more time, and the stud is fine. She just got a bunch of scars.
Found the stick, young P. Ooh, shit! Ooh! Hey, look! That bitch got electric in it, you seen it?